Hey, what's up, Scott Ballgame here with Imagination Creation Films, and today is week 6 of the SB50 Cinematography Challenge. I'm here with Bill Howard, and yeah, I know, I'm late. I could go into many reasons why I'm late. This is supposed to come out on Friday. I'm putting it out Monday, which is actually today, just so you know. My life is a total mess right now. Well, I mean, in a positive way. Don't feel pity. That's not my intent. My intent is look how happy I am with my life a mess. No, lots of stuff going on. Some of it I can't talk about, some of it I can, but all good things, positive things, all forward things, all film things, the best part ever. But we've got the challenge this week, and the challenge this week is the vertical rule of thirds. Now, I'm gonna let Bill do a couple of demonstrations on the vertical rule of thirds. I'm going to talk more about the underlying uses of the rule of thirds. We talked about it last week. Well, he talked about it, I was in LA. The horizontal rule of thirds and when you should and should not use it, and vertical rule of thirds, I will talk about and when you should and should not use it. Like right now, I am not using the vertical rule of thirds. I'm standing right in the middle. However, I'm in a third of the frame because it makes sense for the purpose. I'm talking to the camera, so the camera is the person that I am locking eyes with, which is you, the viewer. So I am breaking the rule of thirds by putting me on, let's see about right there. These would be the vertical rule lines. Now, because of this, I'm sitting in the middle as it makes sense. Now, if I'm in a narrative and I'm talking to another character, I'm not gonna be looking at the camera, I'm gonna be looking at them. So let's position myself over here in the rule of third. Now, if I'm talking to the camera, this looks silly unless there's a second person standing right here, in which case you're using the vertical rule of thirds. So probably what's gonna happen is the camera's gonna be just off and I'm gonna be talking this way. Now if you look, let me look just to make sure, yep. You'll see that I have a lot of space in front of me. Now, normally this would be a person there, but you may not see that person in frame. But because I have so much distance and so much space in front of me, then the eye is tricked to use that space to infer that the importance of my conversation, the importance of my dialogue that I'm having with this person over here is actually in front of me because of that space. Now, if I reverse this, let me go over here to this third. Yeah, that looks just totally normal. But I turn this way and I'm talking this way. Now the eye is tricked not to what's in front of me, but what's behind me, which would mean if I'm doing this right here and I'm having a conversation, then what the brain is going to do is going to say, what's about to come up behind him? What's happening over here? Why is this so unnatural feeling? And then a zombie comes up behind me and stabs me in the neck and then eats my brains. It's a huge meal. It's like a 7-course meal with my brain. Probably not, it's mostly air. It's like one of those little marshmallows. Yeah, it's like that. So position your characters or position your items of interest. And I say that because if you have, let's say, a beautiful oak tree and a sunset, try to place the oak on one of the thirds and the sunset, the sun, on the other third. Why? Because it is most natural to our eyes. That's why the rule of thirds exists, is because it's a fast reminder to help us understand the natural way our eyes are positioned and are expecting things to happen. So, Bill, do you have anything to show? Maybe you could demonstrate for us. It would be really cool if you did. Do you have that? Can you do that?
Everybody, just like last week's video when we did the horizontal rule of thirds, the vertical rule of thirds, it just tells the composition, and if you remember my intro to last week, when I sat on the bench, although I was using the bench for my horizontal rule of thirds, I sat on the rule of third for the scene. Instead of sitting directly in the middle, I was off to one side. Now, if you think back, the bench is a great way to do this. If you think some of the iconic scenes such as Forrest Gump, he wasn't sitting in the middle of the bench, he was sitting on that third line, on that third vertical line. 500 Days of Summer, whenever you had the bench scene there, it was always one person was off on 1/3 instead of directly in the middle. And in filmmaking, just like I'm sitting right here, we line up on that third, and it just makes the scene more interesting. And one other thing about the rule of thirds is when we're using those verticals, it gives you room in the scene to place something. So you have an empty spot, and you can use a static camera and then allow something to come into the scene and fill that void. And let's again think back to that Forrest Gump scene. By him sitting on that third and having the empty bench beside him, it allows someone else to come in and sit there and get the conversation started to carry that scene. So let's see what you got, Scott. That's kind of what I got, and I hope I've explained it pretty well. I know you can do much better. Thanks, Scott.
I'm a little shocked, Bill, because you told me you had this whole dance routine going on. You had a chimpanzee that was dressed up in a little ballerina outfit, I think you said, with roller skates, while smoking a bubble pipe and a beanie on its head. Oh, I'm sorry. That you meant you. I'm sorry. Well, great job, Bill. Great job. Okay, so think about the rule of thirds, like Bill said, like I'm saying, in the framing of your item. If you have two people, frame them this way. If you have dialogue that's important this way, then pull your person off this way and have them look that way. If you have something important happening behind you, move that person over to the other third. Frame things in such ways that it feels natural, and use the cheats of life, because that's what we do. Also, when you're doing the vertical rule of thirds, try to keep in mind that horizontal rule of thirds that we did last week. Now, we're not really combining them, but you should always try to incorporate them. So as I place me off to the side right here, notice my eyes are kind of in that top third, and the desk is pseudo in the lower third, and right along those lines, and I'm on the vertical. See how we're always trying to use rule of thirds? Typically I'm talking in the middle, so I'm right here, but my eyes are still here. That's from last week. We'll be getting into those weekly reviews shortly. In fact, I think we're shooting that this afternoon, but we'll see. So get out there and shoot something with the vertical rule of thirds in mind, and try your best. Just try to keep them on the line, and we're gonna learn the rules, and then we're gonna learn to break the rules. Like right now I'm breaking the rule, but I already explained why. But you can start to understand nothing is hard and fast. In fact, sometimes you want it to feel really wrong and something really off, and that's called Dutch. But we want you to express yourself in ways that tell what you're feeling through your cinematography, which is what this is all about. So you're learning those basic rules, and you'll be able to infer those feelings that way. So get out there, shoot your 5 to 10 second. You can go a little bit longer. Please go out there. I encourage you to tell all your friends about the challenge, have them join in, and to comment and discuss what you like and don't like out there. We're going to be more and more interacting out there. I mean, it's been kind of hectic for both of us lately, but I mean, we're in this for the long haul. You're in this for the long haul. Everybody's here for the long haul. Eventually, we're going to get somewhere. And I think you guys are going to be happy about it. So keep doing that challenge out there every week. And as I always like to leave it, don't let your passions center around your life. Let your life center around your passions. Summertime.